Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek. You should all be laughing now because we have a Joker-centric episode. Yeah, this panel has changed a lot since we first planned the show because COVID got us. Yeah. I'm trying not to make a joke out of that, but it's really hard not to. Let me introduce the panel because everyone's all quiet and no one knows what to say after I said the COVID joke. Was that too much, Chris? Let's start with you, Chris. How are you doing today?
Hey, man.
I'm awake. I'm fantastic. I managed to go to bed early because last
Define early.
Early is like 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and yesterday I got up at 1 p.m.
You
Eastern
East
Standard
Coasters
Time.
are crazy.
Yeah,
all of y'all.
It was the rager across the hall.
You weren't invited to, so you are truly a geek.
But we heard it through the wall, like they were right next to us. So it's like we were actually there.
It's like you're at the real party, just kind of listening.
Yeah,
drinking your Faygo. Wow, I just dated myself. Okay, and the other guy that's on the top of the screen, Mr. Skeeter, how are you doing, bud?
I am awesome. I'm feeling rather joking today.
Jokingly?
Jokingly.
Jokeringly?
That's it. Jokeringly.
Okay.
Awesome.
And I'm going to get back to you in a second, but let me get to, because you're going to introduce the other guest, but I'm going to introduce Courtney first. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. How does it feel being part of this Joker episode? Because I know this wasn't your first choice.
It's not that it wasn't my first choice. It's just I will fully admit to everybody, I am not the most adept when it comes to the Joker.
Okay.
So I'll just be in the back going, totally agree, as the rest of you talk about him.
Wow. So we get to mansplain and you can't complain about it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I literally have no, it's not true. I know a little bit of trivia about people and I know a little bit about the Joker, but I'm by no means as prolific as I am as say about Wonder Woman.
We're talking about Wonder Woman again?
Yeah. So
you made me watch that movie. Yeah. This says a lot about our friendship. Okay.
And you did.
And I was nice about it too.
And you watched it twice. And I only need to watch it once.
And this says a lot about our friendship. Okay, Skeeter, would you like to introduce our guest, bud?
Our guest today is my pride and joy. My little boy down there on the end.
He looks bigger than you, Skeeter.
We're actually the same height now.
Oh, okay.
So, Griffin, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm exhausted because of life, but I'm happy to be here and just another geek. And this is my first podcast, so I'm excited. I've heard a lot about I Heart Geek, and I'm so happy to be here.
Outstanding. So, and for our video listeners, you've got to check out his hat. Get a little close up of your hat. That is absolutely outstanding. This is just for video people. Y'all know where to find us on YouTube. Get on it. That's pretty cool.
Isn't there something on the inside too?
Oh yeah. So we got a little
nice.
Oh, nice.
Tally marks, yeah. But this was made by my cousin. She's an amazing artist. She actually has a Redbubble where she makes some things. I'll have to get the Redbubble sometime
we got kicked
later.
Off of that.
We did.
Oh no, we totally did.
You guys did?
We'll tell you that later.
We'll tell you.
No.
We're rebels.
We're
like
rebels.
To live on the edge.
Yeah, people get mad at us. So today's show is brought to you by Smilex Gas, where you get a grin again and again. If you guys didn't watch Batman '89, you wouldn't get the joke.
If you didn't watch Batman '89, get off the podcast.
That kind of was the definitive moment for when everybody really did know who Joker was, and it was totally the wrong version. Let's start with that one just because that's the most prevalent one in pop culture. There's some definite huge ones after him, but he was the one that everybody seems to think of when you say Joker. What did you guys think of the Jack Nicholson performance of the Batman '89 Joker? Let's start with you, Chris.
Well, since it came out the year I was born in, I'm
Oh,
dating
geez, you
myself.
people make me feel so old.
That was like the first.
That was like a bullet to the heart, Chris. Thanks for that.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm here all day. Jack Nicholson is a great actor, first and foremost, and his backstory is probably the most believable when you compare it to the cartoons, in my opinion.
We'll get to that. We will get to that. Save that.
Of saving that. Yeah, I mean, I'm partial to Heath Ledger's Joker because that's the first one I actually thoroughly enjoyed watching. But
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson's performance is iconic, and it's I consider it one of the best Jokers ever. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay, well let's actually move this question a little bit, because what you already answered anyway. What was your first Joker experience, and how did that Joker make you feel? We're going to get into the psychology of Joker in a minute, but I want to know how the Joker made you feel, and your first incarnation that you fell in love with. Let's go with Griffin this time, since I'm guessing it's probably the Mark Hamill, since you're, that's too old for you too. But go ahead.
Actually, yeah. So, my first experience was actually '89, was Jack Nicholson. And the funny thing about this is I was actually terrified of the Joker back in the day when I was a kid growing up. I was absolutely terrified. That was like the worst fear ever.
Can I ask this? Was it the end part when he's dead and still has that laughter going? Is that the part that got to you? Because that still gets to me. Oh,
for sure. Oh, I love it. But I love the Joker now. I mean, he's my favorite villain of all time. It's really cool. But Jack Nicholson was the first exposure to it. But yeah.
Nice. Skeeter?
I got to go back. I mean, I'm old, so of course Cesar Romero was my first experience.
Oh yeah,
with the Joker. I mean, that's what it was.
With the mustache underneath.
With the mustache underneath.
So bad.
He just wouldn't get rid of it. That was
he refused to shave it off.
Yep, he would not get rid of that thing. So I think he just became that clown prince, from the very beginning, and I just every iteration from then just got darker and darker and darker and darker, which was cool. But Cesar Romero was my first, not my most loving version, but definitely a great one.
Well, yeah, he definitely did do a campy version, but that is what they were going for. I don't think, the Heath Ledger version is not going to work with those Batman episodes.
Right.
Courtney, what about you?
I'm with Skeet. We used to watch the reruns of the old Adam West Batman. And so Cesar Romero is my first Joker that I've ever seen. He's actually the first actor to play the Joker in live action stuff. So he has that distinction as well. But yeah, he was my first. Again, like Skeet, maybe not my favorite with all the guys that have come before or come after.
And we're going to get to every one of them.
Yeah, but he's my first Joker.
Okay, so let's talk kind of the evolution of the Joker. Was that evolution as necessary, or, you have Cesar Romero. Could someone have pulled the Cesar Romero today and it still be viable? I think it could be. I'm not going to say it's going to be as great as the Heath Ledger, but maybe Heath Ledger pulls that campy version and does something just beautiful with it. Let's be honest. The Jared Leto version is a lot closer to Cesar Romero than it was to Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
So, actually, let's refine this question a little bit. What is the defining characteristics of the Joker that has to be passed through all these evolutions? And I think, honestly, on the bottom, we have the chaos, you have all that, but what I think is the most important thing that you have is there has to be the joke. There has to be something that is, no matter how horrible and dark it is, there has to be something a little bit funny about him. And I think that's the one piece that you have to take with every Joker. Otherwise, it's not the Joker anymore. Any thoughts on all that, Chris? I'm gonna throw it on you because you have that look. You have that Star Wars look. So yeah.
So one thing that I think has to be in every Joker, aside from the humor, as you touched on, like that's a given. There has
Yeah.
to be like that dark, twisted sense of humor. My thing with the Joker is there has to be some sort of unpredictability about it because you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know what he's going to say.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what makes the character, that's why the character has had so many iterations. You get to see like different takes
Yeah.
of this iconic character. So those are the two things.
Those the two things?
Yeah.
What about you, Griffin? You seem like you're a guy that studies this stuff.
I think those are very viable. I think those are pretty good. For me, not breaking into an origin because I know that's later, but
That is later.
something that I always feel that is necessary for me about the Joker is the mystery of his origin, of where he comes from. That's a big part for me, is to always not know where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's doesn't matter what actor portrays him. That's one thing that I would love, that makes it for me.
Yeah, that is the next thing we're going to discuss after this, but there's a lot on that. Skeeter, what about you?
The relationship with Batman. I think that we always see this dark, this villainous person, but I think for me, the relationship with the protagonist antagonist relationship through the whole thing doesn't matter where it came from Caesar all the way up to right before where we are now with Joaquin. I think that relationship piece for me
Yeah,
made every part of it. It's this slip away every single time. How does he continually get away? Why does he continually get away? What's going on? And it has to do with that relationship.
well, something that's interesting, but I'll get to you in a second, Courtney, but I have to jump on that for a second. Something I find really interesting is Joker is the only villain aside from, I think, Bane. No, Bane. Joker is the only one that truly has the relationship with Batman and with Bruce. And I think that is such a key component to why he is so terrifying. Joker, I mean, like Bane doesn't want to beat Bruce. He doesn't give a crap about Bruce. Joker wants to screw with every side he can. Whoever he's going to make laugh at the joke is the winner. And I think that's a really interesting take on why the Joker is so in your face and relevant, because he's the only one that gets both sides, which I think is interesting. Because I mean, Bruce has his people he deals with as Bruce. He has people he deals with as Batman. They're never the same, except for Joker, which is interesting. Except for his family. So is Joker part of the family? We'll get back to that in a second. Courtney, what about you?
It is. It comes down to Batman. Of all of Batman's nemesis that he has.
Nemesis?
I guess. Joker is the one that's the most seminal. I mean, he's always there. And like, if you ask somebody who doesn't even read comics or may not be like a huge Batman fan, if you say, who's Batman's arch nemesis, the first thing out of their mouth is going to be the Joker, whether they've seen it or not. I mean, it's not going to be Riddler or anything. So, I mean, because they're so closely tied together, I think that's what makes the Joker such an important character through comic history.
Yeah.
And I mean, in terms of why the Joker's gotten darker, Batman's gotten darker as his cinematic journey has gone on. I mean, because we'll take Christian Bale, because we don't talk about Ben Affleck.
He wasn't that bad. Shut up.
If you take Christian Bale and you compare him to Adam West, the characterizations between those two types of Batmans are so night and day, but so are the Jokers.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but they're still rooted in the same place. They're still rooted.
Yeah, but that's why they become this evolution of where they are now.
Yeah, which is something we always talk about with the reboots and why we hate the reboots on everything. but why it always works with comics is because they keep the core the same.
Mhm.
The hamburger's the same, but the ketchup and lettuce and tomato are different on every episode. So as long as the burger's the same, we can all appreciate it. So that's
I think
are you paying attention, Hollywood? Next time you reboot something, that's what you have to do. Keep the burger the same.
And I think they have to pay attention to the actor's portrayal of the person.
Yeah.
You know, I think of like every time Griff and I sit down to watch a different Batman period, when the Joker appears, when he comes up and shows up on the screen, is it another person trying to be Heath Ledger?
Which is why I think Leto did what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Just such a difference. Because you don't want to be the Jack Nicholson Joker.
Nope.
You have to, but you still have to keep that heart the same.
Yeah.
And you can get more and more evil, and let's be honest, we live in more and more evil of a world. So it kind of makes sense that they get darker because they need to be 3 steps ahead of what the real world is. Unfortunately, they're kind of at the same spot right now. I'm sad. Okay. So let's talk the actual psychosis of the Joker, which I think is, that's why people like our psychology of episodes. When we're talking the Joker, what elements are we talking about? We're talking definite people with the chaos mentality. They don't care. Ledger did the best version of that with burning the money. Like, why are you doing it? Because it's funny. There's no reason for it. He wants to do nothing or do everything. That's the chaos in it. And another big one, and
some men just like to watch the world burn.
And the other one that I want to hit is the actually I'll get back to that because I just lost it. So what are some of the other psychoses that we hit with Joker? Anybody wants to jump in?
I feel like his psychosis is however he can pull, and it's not a fear thing, it's however he can pull, I guess he kind of brings people together in a way. Like his thing is he doesn't want to be over anybody. He doesn't want to rule anything. Obviously, Heath Ledger's burning money. Cesar Romero never wanted to take over the world.
He wanted to laugh.
But he wanted to laugh. That's where we get to most things. It was the evil laugh that was his whole thing. However he could gain that evil laugh was his psychosis. No matter what. I have my thoughts on the Joker, on who he is and what he is, but we'll talk about that later.
Well, let me hit this just because of what you said. I think that it evolved even more with the Alan Moore, The Killing Joke. And he actually, I think it's the first time that it was ever said what his motivation is. What is what do you want? I want to make you smile and I want to make you laugh. The second he could make Bruce or Batman laugh, it's over. It's done. And I think that's the only time it's ever been put into words that well. Why? Again, let's go back to chaos. Let's go back to daddy issues. We can go back to he was picked on in the playground. He was picked last. I mean, there's a million things that could have happened with Joker and probably did in one of his lie backgrounds, which is the next thing we're getting to. But what other psychoses are we talking about, Chris?
I knew it was coming. Well, I was just thinking about it. The Joaquin Phoenix Joker kind of asks that question, like, what's his motivation? Like when he's on the talk show with Robert De Niro, and I think Robert De Niro asks him something along the lines of, "Did you kill those Wall Street guys to like start a movement? Are you their leader?" And he responds, and I'm paraphrasing, something along the lines of, "No, I just did it because it was fun, and these men were awful." And then that turns into this whole other thing. So like each Joker's so different.
Mm-hmm.
But at the core, there's this like they just take immense pleasure from like the world kind of being a joke,
Yeah.
and it makes the Joker like he's just like whatever, I'm gonna do what I want because But like, and then the other one I think of is Heath Ledger's Joker because when he's holding the knife up to people, he's like, he always asks like, "You want to know how I got these scars?" And he takes like this sick, dark like joy of explaining how he like carved a smile into
4
his
different
face.
times. Yep.
Yes.
4 different stories.
And we don't know which one's true, which is
Mm-hmm.
what's amazing. But what's the quote he said? Heath Ledger's. It's like now I'm always smiling. Like
With that flair he had, yeah.
Like it's like now I'm always smiling, and it's just like, the way he said it, like you could feel the discomfort and the pain he was feeling. Well, discomfort for the audience, but like the inner pain of the character.
Just so everybody knows, when I'm looking over, if you're a video watcher and you see me disappear, it's because I'm writing notes down for things I want to bring up in a minute. Griffin, what about you?
I think those are all very good points. I believe that with the Joker, I mean, the Arthur Fleck, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie dove really into a lot of ideas about the psychosis of the character. But I feel like something that gets brought up in almost every one of the media's of Batman and Joker's, that dynamic that that Dad had brought up earlier, is that Joker needs Batman, but I think it's the same thing with the Alan Moore killing joke. At the end, you see Batman, reach out to Joker and say, we're one of the same. Everybody's had a bad day.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me help you. Let me rehabilitate you. And he just turns in a moment of realness and he just says, it's too late for me.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to tell him a joke. So I feel like it's obviously Dad will go more into this later. It's the connection between Batman and Joker, but I think it's the fact that he had, whatever happened in his life had hurt him so bad he doesn't want to feel alone. I think that's his. Oh,
yeah. Courtney, go ahead, because there's something I really want to hit after you finish.
I think everybody basically hit it right on the head with it. I mean, what I find interesting about each Joker's portrayal is because they're so different. Like with Heath Ledger's, we don't know how he got the scars. We don't know how he became the Joker or why he became the Joker. We know why Jack Nicholson's did, because we see him fall into the vat of acid, and like Nicholson's is based on pure revenge. That's why he becomes what he becomes. But we don't know the same reason for Heath Ledger's. We don't know the same reason for Cesar Romero. I have to admit, I haven't seen the new Joaquin Phoenix one yet.
You're not missing
so
much.
I don't know. I'm gonna watch it because I'm told the acting is amazing. But so I don't know if we know why he becomes the Joker or not.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing, and I like what Griffin said, where it's Batman needs the Joker and the Joker needs Batman.
I think
there's that
codependent
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Batman can keep going
because
he's got 47,000 different nemesis, and supervillains to fight, but he needs the Joker. Yeah. I like how that was put. So yeah, I agree with that.
Well, a big part of what I think we're all missing, and this is going to segue into what we're going to talk about next, is his multiple personality disorder. Why does he tell all the backstories that he had, and why are they so convincing? Because it actually happened to one of his personalities. Maybe. In his mind, that's what happened. We have one fixed point in time, to take a note from Doctor Who, and that's the vat of acid. Everything before that is, I think that's when the multiple personality happened. So I don't think he even knows what the beginning was. I think all his personalities. I think the Joker. I think Jack Nicholson and Ramiro. They're the same person. It's just a different personality.
Maybe.
Which I think is kind of a fun way of looking at it. The writers of Batman have said that we have, at one point or the other, heard the true origin of the Joker. They're never going to tell us what it is, though. Which if they ever do tell us a definitive version, I will stop reading the comic. I don't want to know. I think it's funner this way. I think it's funner that they tried that. I don't know if they're still doing the that there's 3 Jokers and this the Laughing Man and one of them's a god or something. So stupid. That's like Grant Morrison writing.
I think so. They did it in the new Rebirth. Yeah,
it's bad.
I hadn't read it yet, but
it's very convoluted writing. It's writing that Joker is very simple to write. Don't add all these extra layers because he has enough layers.
Yeah.
Now you're putting ice cream and peanut butter on that same hamburger, and that's just not good with the hamburger anymore. So so let's talk. What do you either think or hope is his true backstory as the Joker? Let's start with Griffin. You're on a roll today. Go ahead. What do you hope is his original backstory?
Right on. I'm, as much as you've seen, Jack Nicholson, it's very straightforward. What you guys said about revenge. My backstory, honestly, is the Alan Moore Killing Joke. A lot of people will say, okay, throw back to the original. But for me personally, there's something about, just like before Batman, Bruce Wayne, there's a difference. Bruce Wayne was Bruce Wayne. If he still never became Batman, he'd still be this playboy, billionaire, all that. So he'd still have all these things. Now, you have Jack. I believe his name was Jack. But or I might be wrong. But you have this failed comedian. Yeah, in The Killing Joke.
Yeah.
With his pregnant wife and his pregnant girlfriend, and and then she dies, she passes away, and this guy is just torn apart. He can't get a stand-up job to save his life, and that's his dream, and he's barely making it, and he's his wife dies with his child, and he's just having it's a bad the wrong place at the wrong time, and he gets pulled in with the Red Hood gang and then falls into the vat of acid. Now I like that, and I love that. When I go to the origin story, I go to that. But I love the idea of even, which he explores in The Killing Joke. He's like, it could have happened many ways. I don't know. Yeah. And so I love that.
And you know what a really fun part of that story is that a lot of people gloss over? He was never funny as a comedian.
No.
He's not funny as who he is.
Isn't that one of the big things about
to himself? He's funny.
Joaquin Phoenix's character. He's that much I do know. He's like a failed comedian. He's just not. He can't make it as a comedian.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but that fact that he wasn't funny and he's still not funny, but he laughs at his own jokes, and he laughed in the Killing Joke. He laughs at his own jokes.
Yeah.
Just like the Joker laughs. And that's why I do buy into that as probably his origin. Chris, what about you?
If they were to ever tell an origin story, I would be heartbroken because it takes the fun out of the mystery. But to answer your question, I would say if you took elements from The Killing Joke, Jack Nicholson's portrayal, and Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal, that's the origin story. Like if you took the failed comedian aspect from Killing Joke and Joaquin Phoenix, and then add the vat of acid, because that's what I felt was missing from the Joaquin Phoenix movie. But I have thoughts on that. But yeah. I would say every Joker has to fall into a vat of acid because the Joker could be anybody when at the end of the day, because we know who Batman is. He's Bruce Wayne. He's this billionaire playboy who has the power of money and money. Whereas the Joker and girls, yeah,
lots of girls, lots of girls. Dear God,
We're detective.
Whereas the Joker, he's driven to his breaking point and embraces it when he comes out of the vat of acid with his pale white skin, green hair.
Yeah,
and there's a transformative process that whatever the Joker's actual name is, I don't think it matters whether it's Jack or Arthur.
It's Melvin.
Yeah, probably.
I'm putting it out right now. It's Melvin.
Yeah. So take what I just said about take little bits and pieces from Jack Nicholson, Joaquin Phoenix, and Killing Joke, and that's the origin story.
And again, that goes back to my multiple personality thoughts. Is I think there's truth in all of them, and they're just retelling it. Courtney, what about you? I'm saving you for last, Skeeter.
I don't want to know the origin story. I don't want to know his real origin. I'm like Chris. I like the fact that we don't really. I mean, and I don't mind that. I know that Jack Nicholson fell into a vat of acid. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, in terms of Heath Ledger's, I like not knowing how he really got those scars. Mm-hmm. Like, which story is true?
I want to be lied to.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. And so that's how, and that's one thing I missed when I saw all the pictures of Joaquin Phoenix is he didn't have this sinister smile. The Joker has to have the sinister smile. Whether it's from scarring or whether it's just the actor being able to be terrifying Jim Carrey Grinch-esque smile. That's what I like about it. I don't have a favorite origin because I like them all and I like not knowing which one is the truth.
Fair enough. Okay, Skeeter, go for it. I know you had something.
Griffin's all excited.
I guess you guys are playing this one in advance. Okay, I got you.
I just know what he's gonna say.
This is the psychology of the Bat. This is Bruce Wayne. This is a kid who witnessed his parents get shot in an alley after a fearful experience in a dramatic play. He came out, the fear was still there, his parents were killed, he had nothing, he had no one. He had Joe Chill, but he didn't know where to find him, so his mind made this person
I know where you're
this ultimate thing, this enemy, this vision in his mind that said, this is the Joker. That's where he came from. He was not in my picture, doesn't matter who played the role, he was he was the Joker's, or he was Bruce Wayne's invisible friend.
This was Harry Potter.
Close. He was Bruce Wayne's whoopee, like I said. He was that blanket that the little kid didn't want to get rid of. And prove me wrong, because every time he had the opportunity to kill the Joker, he never did. Even when we see Batman become this stone cold, start killing fools, he never killed the Joker when he had the opportunity. He beat the brakes off him, but he never killed him. Even in the Killing Joke, even in every video game, in every time we see them together, the Joker needs Batman, the Batman needs Joker, so it's a mental thing.
See, there is some canon to this. And this was whatever happened to the Dark Knight.
Crusader.
Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's more Alfred Alfred is definitely the codependent on Bruce and making this happen. So that's, if you haven't read the story, you should read this story. Yes. And your mind will go exactly where Skeeter's is going right now. I don't agree with it. No, it's whatever happened to the...
It's Batman, whatever happened to the Cape Crusader.
Yeah. Okay.
It's literally, it's one issue long. It's not long. You can read it.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's by far and away my.
I think it's Alan Moore.
I think it is Alan
I
Moore.
think so. Yeah.
Because I know he did
It's
Whatever
this-
Happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
I think yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
this
he
will
did the
definitely be on our
same-
show
it
notes.
Was this? It was the same person who did that one.
Then that's Alan Moore.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
And don't listen to
guy-
anything Alan Moore says because he's as crazy as the Joker.
Yeah.
In real life. Everybody knows it's true.
He is a little goofy.
Just a little bit. Okay, now let's move on. Yeah, we got about 20 minutes left, and this is about what this is going to take us. Let's go through kind of the list of some of the men that have played the Joker, and let's talk about what did they bring into the role, and what was their main psychosis that they gave to the Joker. Fair enough. So we'll start with good old Cesar Romero, the first and the best. I think he was every bit as crazy as the Joker was that he played. I think he was the first one that really showed that existentialism as for the Joker. He's like, I don't care what happens. I just want to see something happen. I don't care about the consequences. And you shave my mustache. Yes. So what is your guys' take on Cesar Romero? Did he bring anything different to the role?
Yeah, Cesar Romero was the first one to do it. So he created the role and kind of did the blueprint for everybody else to come after. And he played the character just with wild abandon, and he was bat poop crazy, and it just worked.
Not the one that said that. Just let that be on the
I did. I said poop.
Just certain people like to have a fit about it, and he's editing the show today. Yeah,
No,
I'm
he
not
just
the
doesn't
one.
like
that
when you say metric poop time.
Again, I didn't say it. I'm happy now. Okay, so everybody else, what did Cesar Romero? If there's anything we missed, if anybody got anything on that?
The
He was just
singing.
like,
The
Oh, I
singing.
forgot about that.
That's right.
Like
I
the
forgot
dude
about that.
danced around. He sang. He was just a clown. I mean, everything about him was.
Mhm.
That's who Cesar Romero was. He brought kind of joy to a pre-dark role, and then every other one from there just drove this dark, evil, menacing, masterful
Yeah.
creation of this character.
Well, he definitely borrowed a lot from what Pangini,
yeah.
the very famous clown from Italy or whatever.
Paganini?
Yep.
Paganini. Yeah, you knew I wasn't going to say it right. Thank you.
No, I was trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Actually, that's the first time I've heard his name said. It's usually I read it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Paganini.
Okay.
Well,
Like
we
a
know what
pig-
you're talking about.
Like a
We
sandwich.
know what
Okay. Okay. Anybody
Close
else have
enough.
anything they want to add before we go on to Nicholson?
I have
Yeah.
2 interesting facts.
Oh,
sorry,
fire away.
Chris.
Who?
He was the oldest. He's the oldest actor to ever play the Joker,
Really?
and he was the tallest Joker because he was 6'3".
Wow.
That dude was giant.
Which
Yeah, he was a
definitely
big man.
fits the comic book, only he's not as lanky as. Actually, none of the Jokers have been as lanky as the comic book is.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
those are random. Sorry, Chris.
Oh no, it's okay. All I was gonna say was Cesar Romero brought this like joyful cartoon campiness to the role that just made it so enjoyable to watch. And it was just like, yeah, he's the Joker. He's a bad guy, but I love him because he's just so, happy-go-lucky about it.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, when I was a kid with that, it really did get the Riddler, the Frank Gorge Riddler, and Cesar Romero Joker were basically interchangeable, and that was one thing I don't think they did right. Both fantastic actors, but I don't think they were fleshed out as characters enough. But they were interchangeable.
Yeah.
It could
And
be,
to
yeah.
piggyback off of everybody to end Caesar, before we move on, I'd like to say one thing stuck out to me about Caesar is that he was campy, yes, all that, but something about his Joker that other ones have done more subtly, but he was just like the gravitas with him. He would just be like, "I'm here, I'm Joker, I'm in this now.
I'm
What's up, Batman?"
fabulous.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's what he was that's what he brought to it.
He was a drag queen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that with any malice at all, but that was
Larger than life.
just very. Bah! Which
Mhm.
I think that a lot of the characters, except for one, has been missing, and we'll get to him in a few minutes. Okay, so let's we've already hit Jack Nicholson. So is there any extra thoughts that we haven't hit on with Nicholson, Chris?
Well, I was just thinking about it this morning. Like Jack Nicholson's Joker, before he fell into the vat of acid, he was already like this criminal, like mobster.
He was more evil.
Yeah, and then he fell into the vat of acid, and that kind of just freed him in terms of like tuning into his, inner demon.
Yeah. No, I don't think that anything would have changed in that except for the gas. I don't think anything in that storyline changes with Joker. If he wasn't dumped the acid, I don't think that story changes one bit.
No.
Terrifying character at the end, especially with that laugh, especially when you realize that whole time it wasn't him laughing, that was just a box laughing. Ugh. Ooh, so he's psychopath. Yuck. Everybody knows what I'm talking about on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody else want to hit anything on this one? Because we already hit them pretty well.
I got some
Go for it.
trivia.
You're gonna have trivia on everybody?
Just the major ones, I think.
Outstanding. Okay.
Jack Nicholson has said that he looks as the Joker as a psychotic version of Bugs Bunny.
Oh,
I can see that.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing is he was personally recommended to play the role by Bob Keane, who, those who don't know, is the
Stole the
creator of
character.
Batman.
No, stole the character. Yeah.
Creator of Batman.
The
There's
marketer of Batman.
There's my Jack Nicholson trivia.
There you go. Okay, so let's hit one that most people will never find. I do highly recommend going back and looking up YouTube. Look for Tim Curry as the Joker. Tim Curry did 2 episodes of the animated series before Mark Hamill took over. They took him out because he was too disturbing. And if you go back and listen, you will agree 100%. He would give a kid nightmares. There's something. Tim Curry, I think, is the most lovely, evil human being on the planet. Something he brought to that role, which I would like to see what he could have done with it live. But I think,
man, I mean, he already. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I mean, we're talking the same Tim Curry who played Pennywise, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
the same
And then
Tim
the
Curry that
original,
was Frankenfurter, that was that was on Clue. That's
Yep.
just it has been
The man, the myth, the legend.
Just I mean, on the show we're all huge fans of Tim Curry.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend. And this we're not really going to hit his psychology because we didn't get to see what he would do because we're going to do most of that with Mark Hamill. But I would just highly recommend going back to YouTube, punch in Tim Curry as the Joker. It will give you nightmares. It's scary.
Fun fact: I did not know Tim Curry was the original choice of the Joker until I looked it up on YouTube, and his laugh is terrifying. His laugh that they kept in the show is terrifying. Yeah. And another fun fact I was reading is, in addition to Tim Curry, Robin Williams and Willem Dafoe were also in the running to be the voice of the Joker.
I could see Dafoe. I could not see Tim. Or could not see Robin Williams.
No.
Oh, Dafoe would be great.
No.
Yeah,
how has Willem Dafoe not played the Joker?
But
how is he?
Everybody wants him so bad. I mean, I agree with that because I love his Green Goblin, but
well, Marvel doesn't like to let go of their characters either to DC. We all know that's kind of a fact on that one. Okay, so
they have like non-competition clauses in the contracts, I think.
Which Josh Brolin does both, but or he does 2 Marvels.
2 Marvels.
Yeah, he does. Dang it! I know there's. Well, no.
Technically,
I'm thinking of somebody. Ryan. I'm brain farting. Deadpool.
That's because nobody accepts the Green Lantern movie but you.
Shut your dirty mouth. I will in a minute.
Hey, hold up. If anybody has seen no spoilers, but if anybody watches the CW TV, they did the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. This is totally off subject, but they dubbed for you. They actually canonized the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern.
Really?
The multiverse.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, if you can find me a link and send me that, I will totally
Yes.
watch that. That's awesome. Thank you.
Totally.
You're awesome. You just earned a spot on the panel whenever you want one, just for that.
Hey, thank
some
you.
people accept the Green Lantern as canon. Okay. So let's go on to the man that replaced Tim Curry.
Diggle is Green Lantern and Arrowverse.
He's the
Anyways.
Almost.
sorta, almost.
Well,
I want to see that. I want to see that.
Me too.
But he's not
Sorry,
Jon Stewart.
Griffin and I just went off on an Arrowverse tangent.
I only want him if he's Jon Stewart. So okay. So let's go
Yes.
to Mark Hamill, who by most people's view, that is the Joker. I'll let you guys just go for it. I think he brought a amount of whimsy to the part that was missing with the Tim Curry. He's evil, but there's more of a whimsy to him, so it's a lot more fun and a lot more palatable. I think would be.
I will.
Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. I'll go on to say everybody's putting in fun facts. I'll put in my fun fact and knowledge of voiceover because I wanted to be in the industry some time ago. But Mark Hamill has said himself, and I'm quoting him, that he wanted to play someone like Mr. Freeze or Hugo Strange. And when they wanted him to audition as the Joker, he was like, I'm going to go in and do this so bad on purpose, just so because I know I'm not going to get it. And then he ended up being the best Joker. He ended up being Joker. So.
Yeah. And he literally is when you read the comic book, I bet you anything that is the voice you read it in. You read the Joker.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So because the animated series came out in 1992 when I was 3 years old, I didn't realize it was Mark Hamill until much later on in life. And then when I learned it was Mark Hamill, I was like, oh my God, that's Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is my favorite Batman villain. And he's the voice of the Joker.
Yeah.
Like I would listen to him play Joker any day of the week.
And he's also done, I think, the Arkham Asylum games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he has. He's done all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just so. I would never want to see him play him live. I don't think he fits.
No.
But that voice is so iconic on what he's done. Sort of like the Kevin Conroy. I don't ever want to see him playing Batman, but I want to listen to him playing Batman for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Griffin and I have had the pleasure of meeting the director of that whole series at a con, and in meeting different voices and seeing different people, it's tough to watch any kind of animated anything with Griffin because he knows every voice. But it's awesome because like Hamill, the way he portrayed it, there's not another person ever that's going to be able to match the whimsy of it, the tone, and just the evil fun that he had with it. Like Griff said, he went in there doing his worst, and you get his absolute best of this character. And and then when we got to meet like the director and the different people that made that show what it was, like you understand why it came out the way it did. Like you understand why they chose him for that part, why he is the way he is, because they're all a bunch of kids as grown men that want to stick to the real thing. They want to stick to the story, and they don't want to run away from it. And they want to make it the best thing ever. And just goosebumps all day.
He had a moment.
A moment. I did.
I
did.
Okay, let's move on to, I think, in my opinion, the most underrated Joker, which was Kevin Michael Richardson from The Batman. Dude, I mean, he's got like the blackest black guy voice I've ever heard in my life. But he just made it work for Joker. And he didn't try to.
Oh my God!
He didn't try to change it at all. You've heard him in probably 30 or 40 different cartoons in your life. I guarantee you've heard him before.
And everything.
But he has got this. I don't think he put on a character for his voice. He was himself on that, and it was. I would have liked to have seen what he could have done a little bit more. It was so psychotic and so disturbing, but so fun-loving at the same time. I don't know if anybody are you guys familiar with the Batman cartoon?
Yeah. Kevin Michael Richardson is amazing. I love that dude.
He's been in everything.
He's been in everything as far as voiceover. He plays all the real low. If you don't get Phil Lamar,
you get him.
But but they do. But Kevin is so awesome, and I agree with your statement. He definitely was underrated, and I would love to see him play the Joker again, because
I would like to see him do it live.
His take is
it's incredible.
It's so unique. Yeah.
Chris, you had something?
I was just going to say, sadly, I haven't seen Kevin Michael Richardson's performance, but just hearing you talk about it, Griffith and Dub and Skeet, I'm going to add it to the things I need to watch.
Oh, it's a really cool take.
Yeah.
It's very colorful. So it's not like the Batman the Animated Series. It's more Looney Tunes coloring than the animated series. But it's definitely got a dark undertone to it, and it's got a lot of... It takes
inspiration.
Yeah, it's very cool origin stories from it. You see a lot more from Clayface, which makes him an interesting character for the first time. It takes it from Detective Yee, which is... I love that character. And you see her in comic books for years, and you never put any thought into her until you watch this. So if that isn't in your rotation, it should be. Okay, let's see. I think that this one will go real fast. Jeff Bennett, who was in The Brave and the Bold, was nothing but a throwback to Cesar Romero. Yeah. And honestly, for that show, it's exactly what it needed. He didn't add anything to the role. Nobody took inspiration off of him, but I think he did a good job. It was serviceable. Now let's go with the next generation, which would think the Griffin generation. That's everybody's Joker is the Heath Ledger version. While I love the version, he will never be the Jack Nicholson to my generation. I think he was fantastic on it, and I think that the part literally killed him. But I think that I don't think we'll see another performance like that in our lifetime on superhero or otherwise. But he did bring something different to the role. He did bring that chaos that we haven't seen before that. He was the chaos that was in the comics, but he brought that out on screen. So let's hear you guys' thoughts on Heath Ledger, because I want to spend a few minutes on him. Let's start with Courtney.
I think he's the definitive version of the Joker. As much as we love Mark Hamill and the voiceover, as much as we love Jack Nicholson, and we even love Cesar Romero, we love Kevin Michael Richardson, I think Heath Ledger, because of what he did with the character on screen that we hadn't seen before, I think he's the definitive version of the Joker, and I think he always will be. I thought it was brilliant. It was the darkest, twistiest, most disturbing version of the character I'd ever seen. I was sitting in the movie theater with my mom going, he is messed up. And I mean, and you know the Joker's messed up because it comes with the territory. But Ledger just took it to the next level. And I agree with you. I think it probably did kill him. He said it's his favorite role that he ever played. But it also, I think it was, I also heard interviews where he said he had a hard time getting out of the Joker's head.
Well, and that was kind of the problem with who we're going to talk about next. But
anybody else? He's also the first actor to ever win an Oscar for a comic book adaptation.
Nice.
That's how good it is.
Stay away from the Olsen twins; they'll kill you. Chris, go ahead. You had something.
I remember sitting in the movie theater when this film came out in 2008, I want to say. So I was in college. Long? Yeah, 12 years. I remember after the first scene where he's like, "How about a magic trick?" and he slams the guy's head.
Oh, I love
the table. I remember I saw the Dark Knight like 4 or 5 times in the theaters just because Heath Ledger was that good, and every single time I saw this movie, everyone was on the edge of their seat, like with their mouths on the floor, like just in this silent, like admiration of, holy crap, this is we've never seen this before. And even to this day, when I watch it here at home, I get goosebumps every single time because it's just so raw. It's so like
it was generationally defining. It truly was.
It's so
Skeeter, go ahead.
I think that was like every movie's kind of got, well, not every movie, but a lot of movies have their bass drop moment, like that big. And I think even though we opened with the bank robbery and all that stuff going on, I truly think that moment when he said, "You want to see a magic trick?" and he smacked that dude's head down on that pencil, that was it. Like that set the tone for the rest of the thing. But I think well, Griffin's told me a bunch of times, like, about what Jack Nicholson told Heath Ledger going into the role at the very beginning. Griffin, what did he tell him?
Don't do it, kid.
Yeah.
Don't. I guess, like, if everyone's good, I guess I'll jump in with this. My opinion. It is from my generation. It is so brilliant what Heath did, and all respect to him and the character. And in a lot of ways, he is the definitive. For me, as an actor myself, from time to time, I don't follow the method acting style. I don't think that it is a very good one. It took his life. I don't think that's worth any performance.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to him at all. I think his performance is amazing, and what he gave to the world was great. But for it to take his life and for it to do what it did, I think that it was it's a lot of dedication to the art, but it's for that character. I think that there is a point where you have to, as a professional and as an actor, you have to separate that. You have to leave it on the stage. And I know you'll get into that with our next actor as well. But I will say he is brilliant. And when I saw him, I was actually terrified of Heath Ledger, even though Jack Nicholson, I was terrified of him. I was terrified even more of Heath Ledger.
Yes, you should
but then me and my dad, when I was finally like 11, I think, we sat down and watched it. And I thought it was amazing. But he's not my definitive Joker. I think he's amazing. Yeah, he's not. He's not. Because let me pose this. Could you see, everybody talk smack about Jared Leto, which I know we'll get into, but could you see Heath Ledger, his Joker, in the same universe as Superman? Or as Ben Affleck's Batman flying around with kryptonite? You can't.
No, he's too powerful, honestly.
He's too real.
Smart. Yeah,
that's a real take. That's a real take on the Batman and all that story. That's what it's so special about that.
Yeah.
But people say Heath Ledger's better. He should have been in this, or he should have been in that. And unfortunately, I have to disagree, because that's a different take. You need someone campy. You need someone who's different, because Heath Ledger was raw. Like you said earlier, he's real. That's like, if someone legit, that could happen, and that's what makes it so special. And I will give it that it is brilliant and amazing. And that's what makes it special. But that's why he's not my Joker, because Mark Hamill and those mysteries and everything that makes the Joker, to me, Heath Ledger is the real deal as far as if that could happen. But I love there's the story, there's the getaway from real life, and that's what I love about that.
That's a fantastic take. That's different from how I looked at it. That's awesome. Okay,
so I look at everybody from there as trying to be that Joker, except one.
We have two left that we're going to talk about, and I'm not going to agree with you on either. Okay, so let's hit Jared Leto, who I'm going to throw out my favorite fan theory. That is not the Joker. That is Jason Todd. And this is the Jason Todd that before he became Red Hood or whatever. And I think that's who it is. So I don't like calling him the Joker. I think he got a very bad rep. I think that what he did on the set was gross. With that being said, I don't think he was as bad as everybody likes to say he was. I thought for the Suicide Squad, he was an interesting bad guy. We just didn't have enough of him. He
should have been the bad guy.
Yeah, he was.
He should have been the villain.
We've discussed this. The two bad guy setup does not work, especially with DC.
We call it the two villain syndrome, and it always, if there's two of them, there's always one that's going to suffer, and it's usually the wrong.
And they
choice.
both suffered on that one.
Yeah.
No, and I'm looking forward to the director's cut where I guess there's supposed to be like an extra like 45 minutes of Joker just being nuts, which is with how he was playing that character. That's what I want to see. In small doses, it doesn't work with what he did. He played that role differently than anyone's played it. The whole, street thug thing. But his crazy moments were wonderful, with the, like when he had the circle of all the, like the kids' clothes and all that stuff. I was just like, this is brilliant. And I think that he got a bad rap. So you guys discuss Jared Leto for a minute and then we'll get on to the final one.
I think he got stuck in bad material.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the bottom line is like, I think his Joker unfortunately got stuck in a bad script in a bad movie.
No,
if you gave him another chance.
A bad movie. I don't think it was a bad movie. I think both villains sucked, but I think the movie was a good premise.
On that. Yeah, the premise can be good, but the movie
it was at least
terrible.
as good as Wonder Woman 84.
Agree to disagree.
To be fair, David Ayer, the director, is pushing for his cut of the movie because Warner Brothers and execs, they took so much out. We all hear that, but Jared Leto and Margot Robbie have said that they filmed so much, enough for their own movie. Yeah. And so for those big extravagant scenes, he did get done wrong a bit because they were
and that's
probably
how I feel.
Yeah.
I think if he was given an actual shot, like a legitimate shot to be like the bad guy, like Griffin said, like he should have been the main bad guy. If he gave him that, I think he would have been more well received as the Joker.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think the execs also pulled it down a lot because do you really want to, after everything that happened with Ledger, do you want to be the first movie out that puts the next Joker out and has him as the main guy? I can understand why they would do that. I'm not saying it was the right choice.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened.
I think it's a common problem. We've talked about it before. It's a common problem with Warner Brothers when they do their comic book movies.
Executives in general?
They don't understand. And then they go in, I think I'm not a big Zack Snyder fan by any means. Will I watch his Snyder cut version of Batman or Justice League? Yeah, because I want to see what the difference is, because Justice League was terrible. But it's the same thing that happened with Suicide Squad.
They need to have
if it gets chopped up, like if the director gets superseded by the executive of what gets chopped up, then all the performances get lost. So
they need
that's what happened to Leto.
They need to have the same execs for the movies that they have for the animated series, their animated programs.
Their animated
I think
stuff
that we won't have any more issue. I think that they're going to destroy Marvel. Go ahead, Chris. You've been wanting to get in for a minute.
So here's the thing.
What is the Joker?
Jared Leto's not.
We love you, Chris.
Love you guys too. So Jared Leto's not a terrible actor.
No.
I think with the Suicide Squad Joker, they tried too hard to replicate Heath Ledger while adding a sense of like a dash of the cartoons to a dash of he's weird and damaged by giving him these weird face tattoos which serve zero purpose. So I think if Jared Leto's Joker was, if they took like the whole, like, because if you look at Jared Leto's Joker, he kind of looks like a cartoon character. So if they retooled it a bit and gave him another shot, I think it'd be good. But that being
He's not going to get another one.
That being said, it was the worst. He's the worst. I'm sorry. I have to, even because he had a bad script and a very bad movie. It was the worst. It was the worst. I did not like it. I'm sorry.
He was a gangster. He was
a pimp.
What he was. He was a pimp.
He was a pimp.
Gangster.
That's what I like. I like because it's like it's so different, and it's either you could just. I think the damage tattoo is a horrible idea, but it's so different. And they were like, we're gonna go back to the OG, like gangster. He's a gangster, which I don't know where they got that from.
He's a gangster, not gangster.
Yeah,
the clown prince of crime. Maybe
they straight turned that dude into a pimp.
Right. Clown pimp of crime.
Ew!
When I think
Joker, vomits.
But when you say Joker, what do you think of? You think of a clown. You don't think of a pimp. And it's just like, what were they thinking?
Nice. Okay, we have to move on because we have one left and we're already over time. So, and this one is my least favorite, and I don't think he was the Joker, and I don't like that they had the name of the Joker on the movie because it wasn't a Joker movie. It was a psychotic guy, and then maybe the Joker was influenced by it later on. Joaquin Phoenix. Everybody loves this one. If it wouldn't have had the name Joker on, I might have liked it, but it was not the Joker, and I didn't. He was in this. He wasn't so much the psychotic. He was manically depressed, and I think that's it. This is the story of a manically depressed man, and I think this all happens inside his head because the clocks are all at the same time. The whole movie, blah blah. It wasn't a Joker movie. Discuss.
I always felt it was a bait and switch. You guys go ahead. That's all I have to say about it. I just feel this bait and switch. I think Todd Wright, the director, walked in and said, I'm going to make a Joker movie because superhero movies are really, really popular right now, and I've got a great idea. Give me a bunch of money. And they gave him a bunch of money. He just made a movie he wanted to make and slapped the word the Joker on it in the hopes that comic book fans were too stupid to realize it.
And that's what pissed my
We're not.
off.
Yeah.
We're not. Sorry, that was mine. Go ahead, Griffin.
Yeah, no, I mean, I loved it. Dad, I remember we went to go see the movie, and Dad was like, I am not sold on this at all. And I was like, I think, give it a chance. I'm that person. I give everything a chance. But I was like, and so does Dad too. And he's all, what? I don't like it. And I'm like, I thought it was okay. And then I heard that same thing and really thought about it. I've only seen the movie once, and I'm not usually the person to see a movie once. I watch it over and over again. But when Todd Phillips was just like, I want to make this movie, and he was trying to pitch it to Warner Brothers so much, and then he's like, Joker, it's great. And then they're all, dude, make it. Mm-hmm. It pissed me off so much because Arthur Fleck, I don't know who that guy is. He's not. No.
So
go ahead, Chris.
I liked the most recent Joker movie, partially because hold on. They actually filmed a bunch of the movie near where I live, so it was nice. It was nice to see where I grew up in this film and where I live now in this film.
Well, they also have that terrible hockey team up there too. So I mean, you can't.
Yeah. How many Stanley Cups have you won? Talk.
How many more years have you had to do it? Go ahead.
How many years have we been a hockey team?
Okay, we're gonna get off the hockey thing.
Anyway, I thought it was an interesting take as a dramatic, artistic piece that just happened to slap a Joker on it. It was an interesting, what if this was the origin story, and what if this is how the Joker became the Joker? I liked it from a dramatic standpoint, but it's not a true Batman movie.
If it wouldn't have had the name, I would have been okay with it.
I think it's a good film.
Peter, you get the last word.
So the last word, I think Joaquin Phoenix was Leaf Phoenix from Parenthood that was that depressed little kid that grew up, and this was him fully grown. I think it was horrible.
Oh,
The
went there.
only
He
piece
just
of
went there.
Joker that was Jokerish in this
I love
movie
it.
was the very end when he got his head stomped and he pulls the whole like that was the only thing that even closely related it to anything Joker-ish. But no, not at all my Joker, not even a Joker movie. And as they said, it's not a comic book movie, nor will it ever be to me.
Okay, so if you guys want to retort back, go ahead and hit us on our comment pages, all that stuff. We will talk back to you. This will go on and on and on. I promise you that much. Yeah, so check us out on all our other stuff. Facebook, subscribe, do the YouTube thing, blah, blah. Do our Patreon.
We're everywhere.
We are going to start doing a couple of these as part of Patreon is for our psychology of episodes. So you guys are going to want to jump on that sooner rather than later. And until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Chris, and I'm here with Courtney, and I'm here with Griffin, and I'm here with Skeeter. Keep on geeking on, guys.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you Geek Rockstars.